Okay, so this is the Seago ultrasonic electric toothbrush. You can currently get this on Amazon for $55. It'll come in three separate color options. One is going to be this gray that kind of looks like black. We'll have to see the actual color. They have a navy version with a white toothbrush head, and then they have an all pink version. All of them are priced at the same price point. As far as the main features of this is it will offer you 8 replacement brush heads, a built-in smart pressure sensor, a 5 cleaning modes, and then a built-in timer. As far as the packaging, they emphasize that there's a 3D shaped high density bristle design for the brush heads, which is a little bit different as compared to other brush heads. And it's an ergonomic design for the handle, so we'll have to test that out. And they emphasize that it's really about mastering the scientific brushing method easily, which we'll go through how to brush with the electric toothbrush later on. Hopefully this focuses, but on this side it does emphasize those features that I mentioned. So smart pressure sensoring, this is good for those of you that have always used a manual toothbrush. When you switch over to an electric toothbrush, you'll realize that with a pressure sensor, a lot of times you press too hard and you really just have to allow the brush to do the work, rather than manually brushing like you typically would. So that's a nice feature, and some of these do not offer that. It has 40,000 vibrations per minute. There's 8 replacement heads, 5 cleaning modes, and then a smart timer. The smart timer is nice because it really allows you to auto regulate how frequently you brush or how long you brush, and make sure that you brush all the areas evenly. And then on the side here, it lists the main items in here: 8 replacement heads, the toothbrush handle, a USB charge cable, a toothbrush holder, and then a travel case. So that's the main things about the box. We'll open this up. Okay, so we'll pull this out. And so the packaging's pretty nice from the slide aspect. So first off, you have a manual, for instruction manual, that goes through all the features of this. I'll look at this in a second, just to review it in case we need to. But then everything in here is actually very elegantly packaged as far as being efficient. So first off, what we'll do is we'll pull out the brush heads. So it says changing brush heads every 2 to 3 months as dentists recommend. And we'll just take these out of the box here and show you. But I believe they're all virtually identical. Except on one image online, yeah, there's 2 separate brush heads in here, actual types of brush heads. So we'll take these out. There's going to be one brush head there's going to be, I think, 6 of these, which are this 3D design with this yellow, and then areas that, like a couple areas that are like separated, which is a little bit different compared to other brush heads where it's more of like a continuous pattern. So it'll be interesting to see how this works as compared to others. So there's 6 like that, and then I believe there's one like this, which is more of like your classic design. Which is more of a continuous brush like this, and I believe this might be charcoal infused, but I'll have to check. But it looks like that, where it's a continuous brush, and I believe there's 2 separate brushes like that. So those are the two types of brush heads that they have. They have the toothbrush holder as well as USB cable. So we'll open this. So the USB cable is basically a USB-A to USB-C port. There's not a wall adapter, so you have to have that separately, but a lot of people have those these days. And then here's the actual holder. And so this is what it looks like. So it's basically a cup. We'll test this out once we have the toothbrush. But you should be able to wall mount it, I believe, maybe on the side here with the suction cup. I don't actually see a suction cup. And then there's a 3M strip on the bottom as well. So if you want to stick it to your counter, you can do that. But that's what the actual container looks like. Okay, and we'll take out the actual toothbrush and toothbrush handle from the box now. And take a look at this. So it actually, let me just make sure there's nothing else in here. Yeah, so it actually comes in this nice carrying case. It has Seago, and to be honest, this is a really nice case as far as the overall design. From my experience with these electric toothbrushes, at least my Pro 1500, as well as the couple other ones I've tried, the carrying case is usually like a cheap kind of plastic, and this seems kind of more robust. So if you look, it's actually got like a kind of like a speckled pattern on the side, says Seago in like this grayish silver, and then it actually kind of completely closes and is much harder plastic than other cases, so that's nice. Additionally, it seems like it's just like a more compact design, so that's pretty cool there. And then this is the actual toothbrush, and so This is what the toothbrush looks like. So what basically says Seago on the bottom here. Does have this black kind of like plastic that's like a shiny plastic on the one side here. And then on the side here, it does list a couple of the 5 separate modes. So there's a white, clean, gentle, massage, and polish mode. And then there should be a charging indicator on the bottom. And then there's an on-off mode on the top here. And then here's the actual mechanism for the top. So you'll just slide the toothbrush directly on. So we'll test that out real quick. So this is just the regular toothbrush. And if you look here, it looks like it just slides directly on. And so it slides directly on, and it's a little bit mobile there, so you don't want to yank it too much, but basically it just slides, pops on easily, on, off. You don't have to rotate it, so it sticks directly on. And then the power button, I believe, is if you just touch it, so that's interesting. Oh, this is pretty different. So basically it's a very sensitive touch here, so if I just tap it, it turns immediately on, and I can't tell if you can actually see the indicator of the mode. Oh, there it is. So it's right here. So it actually turned this plastic area here that's shiny. It'll actually show a white light there. It's very subtle. But if you basically turn it on, it'll turn on. And then if you tap it, it'll vibrate or cycle through the different modes. And so basically turn on and then cycle through. And then it'll cycle through the 5 separate modes. And so first off, this is going to be the whitening mode. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. But basically it's a whitening mode. Very it vibrates a lot. You can actually see the front bristles here and the back ones kind of like flying all the way, as well as the middle. And it works pretty well there. This is going to be their clean mode. So it's slightly less stimulating, but the back one's still like flying all over, which is pretty crazy. And then this is going to be their gentle. So it's a little bit subtler here. You can see that the bristles aren't flying as much. Mainly these 2 middle areas, or like the second area and this area here are flying, but not as stimulating as the other one. And then this is going to be their massage mode. And so it pulsates. So it's like this pulsating, vibrating mode. Okay. And then I believe there's one more, which is polish, which seems very similar to the whitening mode. I'd have to look at the difference. So that's all 5 modes. As far as the charge indicator, what I suspect is when you have it charged or it starts going dead, I suspect there's going to be a light here that starts flashing or something like that. But really, we'd have to test it out and let it go dead to see. Now, the only other thing I wanted to test was the pressure sensor. So what we'll do is we'll press on this and see if there's any indicator. I'm not entirely sure how it'll... Oh, it actually beeps, I think. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So when you press too much pressure, it actually beeps, which is very interesting. It's a little bit different than other sensors where they have like my Pro 1500 actually has an indicator light here, and it shows up, but this is going to be a auditory beep instead. So that's the main key features here. Overall, it's as far as like the handle and stuff, it seems very good in the hand. Does have this ergonomic design where there's a little bit of groove pattern for your hand so you can hold it more easily. It is a nice size, not too large in your hand, as you kind of expect. And then the other things about this is it's pretty lightweight compared to my other like Pro 1500, which is this one. I'd say it's about comparable, but the overall design, if you look at this side by side, is a little bit nicer as far as the plastic and the housing there. The button's a little bit nicer. The different modes are actually indicated on this versus the Pro 1500 doesn't actually indicate anything. And then there's actually a light sensor here. And then the only difference between these two is that the pressure sensor for this one shows a light versus this one has an auditory one. The Pro 1500 was really originally started off with, and if you compare the sound of these two, this one's super loud versus the Seago is much quieter, and this is ultrasonic rather than mechanical and oscillating like the Pro 1500. So what we'll do now is we'll brush with this for the very first time, get a sense of how it performs. Okay, so we're going to try brushing with this for the very first time. What I'll do is I'll first start off brushing for 30 seconds to get a sense of the timer, to give a sense of what it distinguishes as far as time. Then I'll fast forward through the rest and just give you a feedback based on my experience. Okay, so that was a full 2 minutes with this. As far as feedback, what it provides as far as a built-in timer is every 30 seconds it'll actually pause for a brief second, indicating that you can move on to the next quadrant of your mouth. And then at the end of 2 minutes, it actually stops completely. It doesn't continue, which is actually a nice feature because that allows you to ensure that you're not over brushing. I did try when brushing with this to press very hard, and actually I did not trigger the pressure sensor at all, which is pretty surprising. Compared to my other toothbrush like the Pro 1500, if I pressed that hard, it usually would trigger or alert me to kind of reduce it. So that's an interesting dynamic there. The other thing I did notice is this brush design is a little bit different, where it's a lot thinner. As far as the whole contour of the brush design as compared to the other ones. So you do have to maneuver it a little bit more finely around your teeth. But the nice part though is because it's a little bit smaller, I feel like the bristles are a little bit longer, and they're more, because they're spread out, they can actually reach in between the teeth more easily, which is probably gonna be nice for me because I do still have a bar as far as like from my retainer for Invisalign, and so a lot of times gunk and stuff gets stuck behind it, and I have a lot of trouble reaching through there. But that's the main features of it. I'd say that overall, if I didn't even check my teeth, but my teeth feel very clean, like fresh brushed, like you're coming out of the dentist, which is what you expect with these electric toothbrushes. And so this is a great product for the price. At $55, it's about $30 cheaper than my Pro 1500. That puts it about $20 cheaper than the Lumino brushed that I looked at as well, which was very similar or comparable. And it's a little bit more expensive than the one I've been using, which is the BitVay one, but the BitVay doesn't have a pressure sensor. It doesn't have like the main built-in features, and it has a cheaper battery and a cheaper brush design. So I think this is a great one that's actually offering all the superior quality of an electric toothbrush without the added expense. And so what I'll do is I'll switch over to using this over the next month or so, and I'll circle back and give you a sense of how it performs as far as battery life and everything like that. But this is the Seago electric ultrasonic toothbrush. You can currently get it on Amazon for about $55. It has 8 separate brush heads. They have 2 separate designs. One is going to be this like 3D contour design like this, which is what I tried out, and then they've got the full bristle one as well. It also has 5 brush modes, and then it's ultrasonic as compared to oscillating. But just a nice quality design as far as the brush, and I'll test it out and circle back. So thanks for watching and have a great day.